is Charnee. I'm 29 years old and I attend Valencia Community College. Currently a sophomore because of all the credits I've taken over the years. One of the most important things I ever did in my life was join the Navy. My ultimate goal is to become an aviation mechanic. Hopefully one day I'll be on the other side of this fence once I'm done with school. Right now I'm taking psychology, business management, marketing, and math, because after being out of school for so long, I don't think I was ready to go back into college algebra. When I joined the Navy in 2000, I thought it would be a great way for me to serve my country, but also receive money to go to school once I got out. I've been to 2 war zones. I worked on EA-6B fighter jets. I was there when Operation Iraqi Freedom happened. I had received letters of commendation. It just seems like after all that service and the hard work I put into it, the Navy's not doing the same thing for me. I was discharged from the United States Navy in April of 2003. My discharge characterization is under the don't ask, don't tell policy. Can't even say it, doesn't even make sense. I didn't want my family to know and things like that. I didn't fight the discharge. If it hadn't been for my discharge characterization, I would have been guaranteed that the military would have paid for my tuition. Right now, it's a daily struggle because the money I get from student loans doesn't necessarily cover all the expenses I have. I don't have a car right now because I sold it to help pay for school. Currently, I'm about $28,000 in debt. I think it actually just went up after this year to about $34,000. This all makes going to school harder, but I've been doing it. Last semester, I received my first A in college ever. It's an honor to say that I'm a veteran. It is, it's a complete honor. If they called me today and said, we need you to come back and you know, this policy's been changed, I'd be there in a heartbeat. Oh my God, I'd do it in a heartbeat. What I'm hoping to get out of the trip to DC is to talk with policymakers and experts to see if I can change my situation. So we're at Service Members Legal Defense Network, and hopefully they can give me some great advice about the things I can do to go about getting some of my GI Bill. Hi. Hi. Charnee. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming in.
Did you actually have a chance to see the
video? So let me take a look.
Okay. During this whole thing, I've been really nervous about putting my story out there. And then while he was watching it, he's like, you know, this is what we're here for. This is what we do.
Unfortunately, sometimes people who are kicked out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, even though they have a great service record, for whatever reason, they're given what's called a general discharge characterization. It's one notch down. And by and large, that makes you ineligible to get the GI Bill. There is a forum that you can go to contest your discharge characterization, and that's called the Board of Correction for Military Records. I think generally speaking, if someone has a great service record, they have awards, they have commendations, they have good evaluations from their superiors, someone like that, I would think, should be able to go to the BCMR and get their discharge characterization upgraded.
Hi, Charnee.
Nice to meet you.
Good.
I know that you are on the Veteran Affairs
Veterans
Committee.
Affairs Committee and the Armed Service Committee also. Yeah.
And what do you think would happen if the Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed, or what impact would that have for, I guess, people like me?
As I saw your video there, you would be very interested in going back in the Navy if you had the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. I would.
For people who have been already, the 13,000 or so that have already been discharged from the military under the policy, if we did the kind of change in the law that I hope we would do, I would think it would then mean that they would be eligible to, sign back up and get back up, sign in the military.
So what would the repeal of the law have on benefits?
I think that's a fair question. I don't know the answer to that question. For somebody with $34,000 in student loan debt, that's an important question.
It is an important question, yeah. But what about if I wanted to do ROTC?
You should be judged the same as anyone else who's a 29 or 30-year-old who wants to go into an ROTC program and has 2 years of college, except probably with a little bit of an advantage because you have what sounds like a good military record, a prior military service, and something the military could look at. By the way, you weren't treated unfairly by the Navy. The Navy is just doing what they're told to do.
Right, yeah. And I understood that, going in. That wasn't something I ever thought about that would ever affect me. And then, you go through the military and you grow up and you kind of find yourself. And
you mean because when you went in the enlisted, you didn't know whether you were lesbian or
not,
you didn't even think about it, or was still going through change? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's not an uncommon story. I was 19 when I enlisted in the Marine Corps. That is a chance to find yourself, and that's part of the inherent unfairness of this, and it's another reason why it needs to be changed.
Thank you very much for taking your time. I like your tie. I'm really excited to get back home and to get started on, I have a plan now. I might be able to get my discharge status changed and actually get it upgraded and be able to get my GI Bill benefits, which to me is like the end goal of this whole process. So fingers crossed.